What's going on, guys? Gonna give a little bye week update since we don't have an opponent this week. We got our kicker Randy Bullock talking to us. We got the 49ers next week. 49ers aren't doing too hot this season. We want to avoid any injuries, so we're gonna go rest and relaxation here. 2 injury for our whole team, 1 morale. Big thing with injury there is Ty Johnson. He's gotten hurt every season. So we like that injury going to him. His injury's now at 98. So that's nice. Definitely the focal point of our offense. So we want to, have him healthy. So we've been focusing on our 2 new DBs here that we got from the Eagles. We want to make sure that they fit our scheme. I think O'Neal here is now fitting our scheme. Maddox is still not. So we're going to leave him in there, even though he's an X factor, just to get those extra points. Dorrance Armstrong is someone that we've been trying to dev up. So we have been going between these two just because we like running the ball. Normally I've been going these blitz counters because that's who who I try and dev up. So we'll go that here, even though since we don't have an opponent this week. Not quite sure where we want to go here. Defensive line and linebackers. We'll go our zone blitz for defensive back and linebackers. So we'll send both of those. See what guys we can upgrade. Let's upgrade our players real quick. So it's just the 1 linebacker that'll never see the field. Wow, 2 overall jump. Amazing. Still don't see the field. Yeah, so going into our bye week, we are undefeated. We are 5-0. We have a 3-game lead in our division right now. But that's because we are in a bye week, so we'll see if that becomes a 3-game or 2-game lead after the bye week, depending on how the Bears and Vikings perform. So we'll see who they have. The Vikings have the Chiefs, so that'll be a tough game at Chiefs. Kind of expect the Chiefs to win that one. And Bears at Falcons. Falcons, kind of same thing there. Falcons is a tough opponent. That's who we played last week. We got a slim victory there. We kicked a field goal with about 7 seconds left on the clock to get the win. Team overall hit a 95. Yeah, so just kind of give a recap of our team, what we're looking like. So like I said, we are at a 95 overall now. Our offensive line is kind of the staple of our offense. That's the reason for the increase. So we jumped in 2 overall points on our team. It's because we just, after clicking on our center rag now, I see he has +1 morale. So that's why he's getting that jump. So he's an 88. So our weakest point is an 83 right tackle, but he's also young, 6'7", massive dude. So our offensive line is definitely a strong point of our team. Hawkinson, another staple of our offense, kind of our security blanket. Our first pick this year was Jackson Lowe, who is we got him in the 3rd round, so we didn't have a 1st or 2nd round pick. 6'4", 260, 82 speed. Not great run blocking, but stuff that will suffice. Great acceleration for a tight end, so he does see the field quite a bit. All of our 2 tight end sets, he's on the field. Quarterback still JT Daniels. He's having a decent year. Ty Johnson's the man. 95 speed, 96 elusiveness, 92 juke and spin, 94 acceleration. He's got spin cycle and joystick. So the big acquisition this offseason was Mike Evans. Hasn't been doing quite as much as we want him to do. We've thrown him several jump balls this season. We feel like he hasn't come down with that many of them. So thus far this season he's averaging 52 yards a game. He's almost a touchdown a game, but we'd like to see that average go up. That's not terrible, but, it's still not great. We re-rolled him. We don't like his abilities at all. The only useful one that he has is red zone. That's only 20% of the field. He's got wrecking ball for trucking and stiff arms, curl specialist. We never run curls, and then the red zone as well. Slot receiver, we're running with Rambo now. Second year guy. He was our first round pick last year. We traded away KJ Hamler to the Eagles. Very similar in stats to Hamler, so the only thing we're missing is that in and out elite and streak specialist that Hamler has. But something that Hamler doesn't have is that aggressive catch trait. So Hamler has been able to go up and win some balls. He's also, I think 4 inches taller than Hamler. Hamler was 5'9", so much similar stats wise, bigger, taller receiver with aggressive catch. So we don't mind that loss. We signed Arcega Whiteside from the Eagles in the off season. And then we just signed this guy right here last week. For some reason, he was on a practice squad as a 77. A solid receiver. He probably won't see the field much for us, but just a depth guy. So I'm excited to have him on the team. And then what we like the most is defense. Bulked up the D line. We lost Damon Harrison in that trade for Mike Evans. So we were able to re-roll Deshaun Hand to D tackle, and we like his abilities better at D tackle than what he had at end. With run stuffer, out of my way, and reach elite. So he's stuffing the run even more than he was before. And we put a bunch of content into Trey Flowers to make him like an elite pass rush. The only thing that he's missing is like superstar abilities. So his power, move, and finesse are both there. Play rec, block shed, all that's there. Ashawn Robinson will see the field for us. Sometimes whenever we're in a heavier set, we're running a lot of 3-4 defense as our kind of base defense, which puts Armstrong on the field instead. 95 finesse. We put content into his block shed and his play rec to get his overall up. But he led our team in sacks last year by really only seeing the field on third down. So we're excited about him. We're hoping for a superstar mission at some point this season. To talk about where we capitalize on the trade, we got Maddox for Slay, basically similar overalls. He's a little bit faster, but he's also a little bit shorter. But he has an X factor, and we like his superstar abilities better, universal coverage and tip drill, versus I think zoned out and pick artist. And then of course the shutdown X factor is exciting. The other piece that we got from the Eagles was O'Neal Jr. here, kind of big body safety. Superstar abilities, we put content into his zone and his play rec. His play rec hasn't hit yet, so he's got I think 5 points waiting on him for the play rec, so that'll get into the 82, which should make his overall go up probably a point. And then he also has tip drill and universal coverage, so we're able to put Neal there because we moved Jacoby Stevens, the linebacker. That was the driving force in that trade with the Eagles. Stevens made the cut to linebacker barely by 2 pounds. Minimum was 225. He's at 227. and the speed cap was at 92, and he's at 92. So you know, as of right now, he's definitely a coverage linebacker. Crazy speed, crazy hit power, crazy acceleration, great zone for a linebacker. Player X crazy high, and you know, as you can see, his you know, pass rushing stats and kind of run stopping stats are all pretty low. So all the upgrades that we're getting for him, we're putting him into run stop, and we also have 5 content points waiting on him for his block shed. So we make it 64, which, you know, still isn't great, but it's better than where it's at. But we've been using him a lot, kind of hoping for a superstar mission out of him as well, with the stats we've been able to put up by using him. Gilbert and Davis are both still there. Lars Woodbay is still there. He's got a pretty big jump in his overall since the beginning of last season. I think last season started as like an 87. I think we got his X factor last season. You know, momentum shift, knock people out of their zone, out of my way. Let's say out of his way. Universal coverage. His stats are crazy. The only thing that we wish was higher was his speed. We contemplating re-rolling him to linebacker, but he was 2 pounds short. We would have had to use a Kelvin Benjamin camp on him, which kind of would defeat the purpose because it would have made him 83 speed. So, you know, if he was, you know, just 2 pounds heavier, we would have tried to move him to linebacker and leave Stevens at linebacker. But me personally, I always like big, hard-hitting, fast safeties. That's you know, both Stevens and Woodbay were both my first-round picks in the 2 first drafts that I was in here. You know, at the end of, I guess, at the beginning of season 2 and beginning of season 3. That's something that I like to focus on my defense. Mike Hughes is still there. We got him from the Vikings in season 2. Got him to superstar. We got acrobat and universal coverage. Take a peek at his stats. 90 speed, 96 zone, play rec. We got 5 content points waiting on his play rec as well. There's the 3 people we've been contenting right now. Acceleration's up there, agility's up there. He makes some crazy plays for us, got that aggressive ball tendency. And then this is a project of ours. Goodray, when did we draft you? I think this is your 3rd year in the league. Yeah, we drafted you in the 3rd round. Yeah, so this is his 3rd year in the league. I think we drafted him at like a 67 overall or something like that. So his jump has been crazy. We put a bunch of content into him. We got elected to the Pro Bowl last year. We decided to upgrade his dev going into the last season in hopes that he does get a superstar mission to have a 3rd superstar corner. Not sure if that'll happen or not, but we figured based off of his stats, there wasn't a stat that we really cared about enough to use those 7 points on. Because we could have increased his play rec by 3, and then that'd pretty much be it about stats that we care about. Maybe his awareness, because his zone is maxed. Don't run man hardly ever. He doesn't get injured. So we went the gamble of hoping that he gets a superstar mission. So we'll see if that happens. He's got aggressive play ball, so just that 97 speed, 96 zone, and aggressive play ball. He's a tremendous slot corner for us. It's kind of a recap of our team, where we're at, where we're sitting at in the bye week, what we're looking forward to, how our team's performing. It's pretty sweet to see 95 across the board there. So yeah. So tune in next week to watch us face off against the 49ers in San Fran.